and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyaso. Tonight, mediator group says Boko Haram is tired of fighting, wants quick dialogue to end the war on insurgency. Convener of Bring Back Our Girls campaign says government should do more, insists on rescue of the girls. Now, students of public schools in Osho State reject demands from the authorities for tax receipts, also want their teachers' salaries paid. And confusion in Burkina Faso as interim president and prime minister are detained by a presidential guard. And on business news, investment managers in Nigeria go on aggressive hunt for investors as foreign portfolio at the stock exchange slumps.
And on sports news tonight, gold rush for Team Nigeria and 4 more events at the All-African Games in Congo, Brazzaville.
With reports of emissaries being sent by Boko Haram to the Nigerian government, there just might be a fresh lead in efforts to bring the insurgency to an end. Retired Air Commodore Yusuf Anas, that's the executive secretary of the Center for Crisis Communication, which is the group acting as go-between for the government and Boko Haram, told Channels Television today that he got a message from Boko Haram insurgents saying that they are tired of fighting and are ready for a quick deal to end the war. Commodore Anas says although the Boko Haram members are not asking for monetary compensation as a precondition for laying down their arms, they are seeking genuine commitment from the government in the ongoing negotiation. The executive secretary claims that sometime in August this year, some Boko Haram members approached the Center for Crisis Communication to help facilitate negotiations between them and the federal government. According to Commodore Anas, while expressing support for the declaration by the president that the federal government was willing to dialogue with genuine leaders of the terrorist group, the CCC believes the new position had become imperative in view of the fact that the military option alone has failed to resolve the issue. Just yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari confirmed in France that the federal government is in talks with Boko Haram with a view to ending the insurgency. Now, reactions have been trailing the announcement that the federal government is negotiating with the Boko Haram sect to secure the release of over 200 Chibok girls abducted by the Boko Haram sect over a year ago. The convener of the Bring Back Our Girls group, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, told Channels Television that the federal government should employ the most credible intelligence first before beginning any talks with the group. She told our correspondent, Gloria Umezuke, that the government should be more focused on the results to prevent a recurrence.
Perhaps there are lessons that have been learned by government as a result of past failure in any kind of negotiation with a group as unpredictable as Boko Haram. If those lessons have been learned and the current administration has superior information compared to you and I as citizens, then I would expect that every thing that the government would do in this negotiation would be focused on results. Anything that does not attain result would be too painful for the entire nation. Not a situation where it would be that these savages have played the country again. We cannot afford to be played again by terrorists. So the most credible intelligence must be what drives every move that the government would make. I am particularly impressed with the recent efforts of the Nigerian military and what I see the leadership trying to do. I mean, I see the chief of army many times in the war zone with the battalion and with the troops. And, you know, that definitely must be a morale booster for them. And a number of the successes that they have been publicizing give reason for us to be hopeful that perhaps the December date will happen. Now, if I also remember that the president stated we would not have won the battle against terrorism without the rescue of our Chibok girls, then it makes me know that we might be in for something very positive.
Well, this is not the first time the federal government is going into such a negotiation. Are you particularly sure about this one this time around?
I believe that this mix of showing the terrorists that we are strong, we are stronger, we are a nation, we're not retreating, we're going to get them, is an important way of even entering into a negotiation. Because when you have weakened the base of the enemy who pretends strength, and then they call for a negotiation, that negotiation, you're going into it from a standpoint of strength, not as a weakling. I kept saying that Nigeria is not a weakling. We must not act as a weak nation, because we're not.
Now, there are reports that some of the girls have been married off.
If any of these savages that stole these girls have decided that by theft they have married the girls, the global technology should find out where his home is, wherever in the world. I mean, the way it is, people don't just vanish completely. Well, they eventually get found. And I think that technology is modernizing more and more. The rapid innovations, the imageries and the systems are such that we can clearly identify. We're talking 219 girls. We're not talking 1, 2, 3 or 10 girls, 219.
Now, how would you assess the present administration's approach to tackling this issue of insurgency?
I have read a number of independent assessments, whether by Europeans or by Americans, in terms of comparing the way that our insurgency war is going now. They are not all praising, but they are mostly praising.
And from the Bring Back Our Girls campaign to the restive schoolboys in Osun State who are challenging a new directive that they should produce tax clearance receipts of their parents to gain entrance into the classrooms. The students took to the streets rejecting the directive.
It's their second day in school after the long holiday. Rather than be in their classes learning, these students are out on the street marching to the government secretariat to protest what they describe as an unfair treatment to them and their parents. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education was on hand to listen to the students.
We just resumed now. They asked us to bring our parents' receipt for the task of for the state, and they sent us out of the school since yesterday. We entered the school today again. The same thing happened. They sent us the teachers, the Biscop. They sent us away, and our principal, him too, he said we should go out of the school, that we should go and bring the receipt. And we are not paying any money. We don't have 4-5. We don't have any 4-5. Students are not going to pay any task, so we are not paying any money. They should allow us in to go back to our school. That's why our education, and we are ready to read. They should allow us in to read our book and go back to the school. That's what we need from the governor now.
The tax clearance is to be collected by your parents or your wards. It is the receipt that we request from you. But since it is generating tension now, I want to plead with you, please go back peacefully to your schools.
The students also used the opportunity to appeal to the state government to pay their teachers and their parents their salaries.
Our teachers are humiliating us because of their salary. They are doing what they are not supposed to do on us because of their salary. They should pay our teachers' salaries too. They have their own children too, and they are going to feed their children. Their children are going to school. They should pay their salary for them. They should pay their salary for them.
Government is prepared to pay salaries to everybody, all deserving workers. Government will pay it. So please, I would have heard you. I will tender all your requests to Mr. Governor.
While this is going on, civil servants from various ministries and local governments in Osun State besieged the state secretariat, praying for the state government on the issue, which for long has been the dispute, the non-payment of their salaries.
Tó bá jẹ́ pé tènìyàn ní ipa àwa ò ká ṣùgbọ́n tẹ̀yìn Ọlọ́run ni agbára tẹ́ fi ń jí Ọlọ́run Olúwa fi dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ náà.
In the meantime, the factional national president of the NLC, Ayuba Waba, was in the state to discuss the grievances of the workers with the government. At the end of the meeting, the NLC state chairman, Jacob Adekomi, says it remains inconclusive as negotiations are still on.
We are still working on resolving the dispute, and we are going to reach the promised land. The government have been cooperating and we are working.
While the negotiations continue, the workers can only but wait and hope for the best.
Aggrieved members of New Peng have staged protests at the gates of Chevron Oil Nigeria at their head office in Lagos and other branches across the country. They're standing in solidarity with contract staff of the oil giant who, according to the union, have been subjected to unfair working conditions. The union members barricaded the gates of the oil company, preventing human and vehicular movement. They're asking Chevron to review the casualization of their workers and pay up all outstanding allowances.
Highbrow area of Lekki in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, woke up today to witness these group of people marching through the streets, chanting songs suggestive of an aggrieved mind. They concentrated their march around the Chevron Drive and before long pitched in front of Chevron Nigeria Limited. These are members of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers picketing Chevron for various grievances.
In 2012, Chevron decided to do away with the 6 companies we are working with and disseminated us into 15 companies. During that process, there was some entitlement we are supposed to receive from them. Up till now, we have been clamoring for that. They give us one reason or the other. They don't give us this entitlement. We've gone to the Ministry of Labour for some times. We signed a communique on that, as in July. But we came back, they refused to obey that communique.
To further demonstrate their frustration, they have these words.
They believe the worst we can do is to roam around the streets, protest, picket, and go back. But we are sending signal that we are running out of patience. Nigeria should understand. If they see us, we stop tanker from rolling. We stop all workers from working. They should know that it is not our making. That is not what we intend doing, but we are pushing to the wall. Because an injury to one person is an injury to all.
It is not just happening here in Lagos. Chevron is also receiving the heat in Port Harcourt.
I have worked with Chevron under contract for about 25 years now. All our benefits, they don't want to give us.
The management of Chevron will not be available for comments as in previous times. Rather, in a statement credited to them, they described the action of the labor union as contrary to the advice of the Federal Ministry of Labor. Chevron is also relying on an injunction it obtained from the Nigerian Industrial Court to consider these protests as illegitimate. The beats and sounds may be off now, but the labor movement has promised a total showdown if nothing changes in favor of their demands. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, Senate President dismisses charges brought against him by the Code of Conduct Bureau, and we'll look at the President's visit to France. I'll be joined in the studio by a Professor of International Law and Jurisprudence, Professor Akin Oyibode. Do join us again.